Hello and welcome. This is Lisa Jones, and you are listening to the Exploring Death podcast.
Hello and welcome. It's Lisa Jones with the Exploring Death podcast. And today I have with me Greg Magick Bernstein. For over the last 23 years, he has trained one-on-one extensively with a number of different powerful shamans, kahuna, elders, and sorcerers. He leads shamanic mystical retreats in power places around the world, such as Hawaii, Mount Shasta, and Sedona. His unique approach is to transmit and emanate an energetic field in which awakening, unconditional love, connection to spirit, and the mystical are exponentially amplified. This field facilitates the resolution of wounds and trauma and wakes people up to their true nature. Death and visiting death vortexes are often a part of his teachings and retreats. And I am thrilled to have him here because I've just spent 7 days with him on a retreat, and I can't wait to dive deeper. So welcome, Magick.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here, Lisa. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Yes, I'm thrilled. Well, part of the excitement of the retreat that we just finished is that you do take us to death vortexes, and death is really a big part of your teachings. And in fact, you're even wearing a string of mala beads, which are skulls. And so first, let's talk about that because it's so striking.
Yeah, well, I was in India last fall, and there's a city in India called Varanasi. And Varanasi is the city that represents to the Hindu culture death. And it's the place that if you actually die in Varanasi, then according to Hindu culture, then you're released from the karmic cycle of life, death, and rebirth, and you experience what they call moksha, which is the release from that. So people want to die there, and they have these, what they call burning ghats by the river, by the Ganges.
So it's going to be about, death and what, which is so in alignment with everything. So the first card is always the blockage card, which is courage. And I think so many people are just so afraid of death, right? And they cower and, it keeps people from embracing it. And even our whole society, I felt, is built to not be okay with death. You know, we try to separate it and take the dead bodies to sterile places where you're not allowed to, go and bathe your loved one. And I mean, I've done a lot of I've done hospice training and then death doula training, where now I know how to take care of a dead body. And it's so magical. Like there's so much power to be with our dead, people. And most people, when I tell them I do either hospice work or death doula work, they look at me with these big eyes and they're like scared, right? Because how can you do that? I mean, it's amazing you do that, but I could never do that. So courage, right? That's where everyone's blocked. The second card I pulled is strength, which is the action card. So, everyone, you just need to man up, for lack of a better word, but just, tap into the strength that we all have, that we're all, capable of being able to deal with death. And that's, I feel like after my out of body experience and going to the other, to this heavenly realm and coming back, I mean, my whole my dictate was to come back and shine light on death for people so that they're not afraid of it. And so it's all about having strength and just knowing that by facing your fears, like, it sets you free. And then the outcome card, which I love, is power, because then you have your power. And when you're afraid and you're, just don't want to deal with it, you lose all power within your own life, and you're being run by your fear, rather, the fear of death, rather than embracing your power and really taking it to the next level. So
absolutely, I love it. Nice start.
That's awesome. Well, Magick, tell people where they can find you and what's going on with with where you're at.
Well, people can find me at www.sacredvoyages.com. That's my website. And you can also go on Facebook. I think it's Facebook.com/Sacred Voyages, and then the number 2 is the Facebook page.
Wow. Well, Magick, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And I feel like you've just shared so much, and people are going to really get a lot out of this. I'll have all of your links, of course, down below on my website, so people can find you if they didn't jot down the information that you shared. And
oh, you know what? There's one other thing people might like. I do a monthly a talk called Magick Talks, which is free. It's kind of like this, except it's just me. And in it, I'm actually transmitting the energy of whatever it is that I'm talking about. And it often really affects people. Like I tell people, don't drive, don't operate heavy machinery. People have visions and epiphanies and ahas and all kinds of experiences. And one of the talks recently was about death. And so if people are interested, when you go to the website, sacredvoyages.com, click on free stuff, and then click on Magick Talks, and then archived Magick Talks, and look for the one that's about death. And, you know, I think it's probably over an hour of deep transmission about energy of death and awakening. And it's quite potent. So your audience might really like that.
Yes, thank you. That's amazing. And well, again, thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait till I see you again in person.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa. And thank everybody who's been listening. Have a great day.
Awesome.
Okay.
And be sure to stay tuned as I'm going to be pulling some cards up next.